Well, hello there, and happy Warrior Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in to webinar number 4 of the summer session of Athena's Warriors United program. Today is the first day of summer solstice, the longest day of the year. You know, summer is a magical season to deepen romantic connections with a partner. Let's not forget that outdoor sex under the warmth of the sun or the glow of the night stars is so much fun. In marketing, we've been working on some fun summer posts to promote parties at campgrounds and lake houses, on patios and boats. This summer, your business can be part of ice cream socials, backyard barbecues, and garden parties because, let's face it, life is better when friends are together. I'm glad that we're all together right now for another insightful Warriors United call. You're going to hear code words throughout this call, so listen carefully. The code word or words let us know that you are here, and they go towards your spoils of war. And your first code word is build, B-U-I-L-D. Your first code word is build. Well, Goddesses and Adoni of Athena's land, warriors, I am so excited to introduce our guest speaker for this call. A former stand-up comedian and contributing writer for the original Saturday Night Live, Jim Pelley has left him laughing for more than 28 years at more than 3,087 top organizations in the U.S. and abroad, including Disney, Intel, Southwest Airlines, Mattel Toys, and AT&T. He's brought his message of how to smarten up by lightening up to hundreds of thousands of people who are high-tech, low-tech, and even no-tech at all. With his hilarious way of poking fun at the frustrations of everyday life, Jim demonstrates uproariously how to use everyday life and humor to become more creative, more productive, and less stressed. Who here would like to be less stressed? I know I would. I met Jim at a inspiring speaker workshop in San Francisco, and he got up there and told the funniest story about Thanksgiving dinner and the dropping of a turkey. And I fell in love with him right there. I said, this man has got to come to Athena's and teach the Goddesses and Adoni how to add more humor to their presentations. And I invited him, and of course he came right out to Rhode Island to join all of us. And he stood there on the stage at the Stadium Theater and had us all roaring with laughter, as well as giving us a lot to think about when it comes to running a successful business. You're going to be hearing some material that is going to help you build your business. So welcome, Jim, to our Warrior Call. Welcome.
Thank you, Jen, and I like that, Warrior. I've been on a lot of calls and speaker for all the years, like you said, and I don't think I've ever gotten a warrior label. One time I had to dress up like one of the guys in YMCA, but that's a whole other story. So it is.
Did you do that dance? Did you do the YMCA dance?
We did the YMCA dance. It was about 2 years ago at a credit union gig of all places, a very conservative credit union. And I got the management up on stage, and we all dressed up like the characters in YMCA. And I'm not going to tell you which one I am, but it's anyway.
Cowboy. I'm going to guess cowboy, although you would look really cute in a hard hat, the construction worker.
I'm not going to say. I'm not going to go too far.
All right.
So it is great to be back with you. You know, the gig in the theater in Rhode Island, I truly have to say, and I've spoken all over the world, Middle East, Far East, Europe, South America, and wow, I had a great time that day, and the night before and the day after. So that's a good speaking engagement, but that was electric in the room. Love what you do, and everyone, on your team, the goddesses, I guess I would say, Adoni, and I just think you're in a very unique industry. I speak a fair amount in direct sales, and so, you're always hearing the latest tools, tips, ideas. Everybody wants that secret to success. So let me start off by saying no secret to success. This is why I do not bill myself as a motivational speaker. But there are principles, there are things that, when you do them consistently or in a pattern, reveal or increase the likelihood you'll be successful. And you also have to define what is your success. For some people, it's making extra money. I want an extra $1,000. I want an extra $2,000. For other people, it's I want my own thing. Met many of the Goddesses and Adoni, and they live for the party. They're like me when I did stand-up comedy. It was all about getting the gig, and when you're starting out, you got to get the gig to have the gig. So you're spending more time marketing just to be on the stage, and then of course when you're on the stage, people love what you do. You get the next gig, and I imagine it's absolutely the same way. For Athena's, you give the killer demo. More people say, hey, I want to have that. I want to host that at my party. For professional speaking, just like doing your demo, it's all about being amazing. People have a great time. They have a great experience. They're more likely to buy, unless they're broke ass and they weren't going to buy anyway. They just kind of came for the free booze and food, and we all know who that person is.
We've all met that person.
that person in the back, a word comes to mind, but I'm not going to go there. So I think in the businesses that I've run, consistency is, dare I go back to it and say that's the secret to success. There's nothing secretive about it, but it's being on track with what's important to you. You have to be realistic in your business. If you really say, hey, I want to earn $2,000 a month, then you've got to set up a specific pipeline that supports that. As we say, wishing, hoping, not a strategy. Never has been. Even to win the lottery, you have to buy the ticket, and most people just think it will fall from the sky. Most people, no matter what the business is, think it should be easier than it is. But the reality is, if you're consistent and you have a legitimate pipeline, and you understand that in business, there's a very key pattern. 80% of your business is going to come from 20% of your prospects. So I always challenge people to think of sales, and we're in the sales business. The demo is part of the sales process. Getting the next party is part of the sales process. So every time you're at a party, you're really doing two things. You're auditioning for the next party, the next experience, where you can go and duplicate what you're doing, and you're selling product. In the speaking business, there's a saying, learned it in stand-up comedy, you're only as good as your last gig. So if you haven't or you don't feel you have perfected a killer demo, that's probably job number one, because not only is that going to help you sell more products, that's going to make getting the next gig or the next party easier. So once you have that down, then you have to be realistic and consistent about what the pipeline really means. Because we all have that experience after a great speaking engagement, the Adoni and the Goddess, after a great party, you have, pick your number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people come up afterwards and go, oh my God, I really want to have one of these at my place, and you take their name or however you build that pipeline. And let's be honest, and I'll ask Jen because I truly have no idea, 7 people say they want a party. How many of those pan out?
Sometimes it's only half. But, it's all the fortunes and the follow-up, right, Jim? I mean, because you never know. Someone may be moving, they're having a baby, they're going through a divorce. I mean, there's all different reasons why people say they want to have one, but not right now. that's why we follow up, right? I mean, as a motivational speaker, I love that you came to Athena's and spoke to all the goddesses and Adoni, and you've always stayed in touch with me. You know, I see you, you like things, you comment on things. I know that when Carrie Sellers, one of your favorite goddesses, won $10,000, you were present and, you know, you were there cheering for her as well. So you follow up. The goddesses could learn a lot.
And it's true. The fortune is in the follow-up. And I'll tell you probably the best thing, and when I'm speaking with my clients, and I'm selling, so in my speaking business, I'm selling a fairly high-dollar product. A keynote in my world is $10,000 to $15,000 for an hour. And it's very delicate because, again, after the talk, people give you their card. Oh, we want to have you come. They have no idea what a speaker costs. I shouldn't say all of them, but some. And I always ask one thing in the first contact, whether it's by phone or by email, and I'm going to challenge, people that it's so much easier to follow up with email, but it's not as effective as a phone call. And instead of calling up to book the party, get a different agenda. You know, we're so conditioned to say no when we're being sold something that people almost resent the process. If you think about it, from the time that you get up in the morning until the time that you go to bed, you turn on the TV, you have the computer on, internet ads, radio. Everybody is trying to sell us something, and our answer is 94 or 5% of the time, no. We're just conditioned. So you get the person who says, yeah, they really want a party. And as much as you want to send them an email or even now a text, a message on Facebook, hey, I just wanted to call and check when you want to book your party, approach indirectly. It is the best sales advice I can give you because sales is ultimately sifting and sorting prospects from suspects. So if the reason of your call is just to thank them for being there, I wanted to make sure you had a good time, and then if you get rapport, and then if you get interest, they may even ask you, yeah, I'd like to book a party. If you leave the call with, I just wanted to follow up, I want to thank you for being there, you gave me your card, and make sure everything's okay, did you get your product, you'll probably come up with a pattern. It does two things. Again, you're going to get rejected a majority of the time, 80% of the people, for 20% of the business. So when you're just calling to follow up, it takes much less of an emotional toll on you. And if they didn't say in that call they really want a party, they probably really don't want a party. But it doesn't matter to you. Your mission is consistency and filling the pipeline. I had 7 people ask. I made 7 follow-up calls. Approach very specific and direct. They gave you a card. They said they wanted a party. They probably don't give you a card. They give you their phone number. You're passing out something. However you're filling the pipeline, be very consistent in the follow-up. Like I say, and you may do it by a phone. Not everybody's comfortable with that, but let's be honest. The reason email isn't effective, it's very easy to reject someone via email, but you could do it that way. Say, hey, I just want to follow up. Make sure you had a good time at the party. See if you have any questions. The problem is when you email and say, hey, I just wanted to follow up, when do you want to book your party? They don't know. It's not a good time. You really don't want to know. You want a relationship. Boy, write that shit down. You really don't want to know. You want a relationship. We only want to work with people. We only want to have parties with people who want to have parties with us. I think that's going to be the title of one of my new talks. But it's true. Again, don't think of booking the next party as I've got to book so many, even though that may be in the background and be your agenda. The goal in winning the game is consistency. What's important, you got to make the 7 calls. You got to send the 7 emails. But you don't want to make a sale. You want to build a relationship. And if you've ever had the experience in this business, I'm doing a lot of parties, and maybe they confess to you or they confess to a friend. They go, Jen, I got to be honest, I'm having a lot of crappy parties. I'm having a lot of 7 people showing up, 8 people showing up. I want the party where 40 people show up. Did those happen very often?
Not as often as we'd like.
Not as often as we'd like. So here's where things change. If you're sifting and sorting instead of selling, you're more likely to find the better, party opportunity. Build a relationship versus make a sale. Pretty classic numbers, and I'm sure most of your people have heard, it takes 7 to 10 interactions. So the first interaction is they see you at somebody else's party. The next interaction is just follow up. We have social media, just liking and being positive and being around. People know your product. We all know, the person who is selling a product, whether through direct sales or at a store or whatever, and they're always asking, when are you ready to buy? When are you ready to buy? When are you ready to buy? Versus build a relationship. Hey, it's great to see you. I know your kids are on another soccer team. How are they doing? It's an easier conversation to have. It's kind of mastering the takeaway. It's making them ask for it. First things first, you got a killer demo. You got a great delivery. Every party you do is fun. Second, you're filling your pipeline. You're getting the people to, say in some way they want to have a party or they want to connect with you afterwards, and then you follow up, and again, you're building a relationship with them versus trying to go directly into the sale. The other thing that you can say is, how would you like me to follow up? People are very specific, and it's usually very generational. Some people may only want to communicate with text. Make a note of it. I use an iPhone. I imagine Samsung has the same thing. Under the in the notes section, fill that out. Fill out the party you met them at. Fill out some basic information, likes this, likes that. Interest in a party. I followed up on this date. And then how do they want to be followed up? Well, they prefer text. They prefer email. And then always use that method. To be really successful entrepreneurs, we need to adapt to the method that fits. Sometimes you get a message on Facebook. Sometimes it's a text. Sometimes it's meeting them at a school event. But you make it fun for them, and you make every action and interaction positive, and then you just sift and sort. And you want to make more money, build a bigger pipeline. But consistency is the key. The challenge is we start to get inconsistent, and then the money isn't what we want. We don't feel about the business the way, we're not excited about it. And, it's like speaking. If I haven't spoken in 2 or 3 weeks, I get a little rusty. I'm not as good as if I'm doing it every 2 weeks. So, if you want a gig every 2 weeks, you've got to fill your pipeline. You've got to be following up with a dozen people, 24 people, and, have a plan and work your plan. Then you start to get momentum. Momentum means money.
Jim, I'm going to stop you for a second. I'm going to insert our second code word for this call, and the code word is A. The code word is the letter A. I have 2 questions for you based on what you just said.
Yes.
It's such great information. What would you say to those people that are nervous about following up? Because there seems to be this general consensus that if you follow up with someone, you're bothering them, you're pushing.
Yep.
What do you say to those people that are
so here's why.
afraid?
You're afraid you're doing it wrong. There really shouldn't be. If somebody's, and again, they kind of have to indicate an interest or a follow-up, or you make it fun. Hey, the reason for my call, or just want to shoot you a text. Great meeting you, at the party. Again, build a relationship, not make a sale. And then it's fun, and there's no rejection in it. If you look at follow-up as I'm sifting and sorting my prospects, there's 1 in 5 that wants the next party. I don't know which one. How fun can I make it for those 5 to hear from me versus the dreaded, even the person who wrote on the napkin, call me, I want a party. When you make that call, you make it fun. hey, I'm looking here at a sweaty napkin. And you said you wanted me to follow up, and I just wanted to follow up. I hope you had a good time at the party. If there's ever anything I can do for you, you need anything, let me know. You know, you have my number if you leave it as a voicemail or a cell, and that's it. Approaching indirectly is never asking for the sale, especially on the first call. You know, sales and being successful in direct sales, it's a relationship. You know, if you walk right up to somebody you just met and said, hey, Jen, you want to get married? Well, one, my wife, Nancy, wouldn't think much of it, and I'm sure Curtis probably throw him off a little bit. You know, you're like, hey, how are you? What do you do?
Yeah,
so
right.
For people, and I get it, picking up that phone feels like 10,000 pounds, but you got to do it. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So that was question number one. Question number two.
Question number two was that you said that people don't actually say yes on the first exposure or second exposure. Sometimes it can take up to 8 exposures for somebody to want what you have. And I think that that's really important to explore a little bit more and why you feel that way or what you've learned in your experience that makes that the truth. Because I know for sure that not everybody at a party says, yes, I want to have a party.
Yep.
But then you have those people who, you know, they went to their sister's party, then they showed up at their cousin's party, and then they added you as a friend on Facebook, and then, you know, they liked a couple of your posts. You know, it takes time to build a relationship, just like you said. So how do you feel about that? You know, because, again, there are people who give up immediately. Oh, this person didn't say they wanted a party at this party, so they must not want anything from me, so I'm not going to follow up with them. You know, what do you have to say about that?
And again, don't think of following up as selling. Think of it as building a relationship and keeping it incredibly positive. That's really the key. We want to be a resource. We're educators in this business. Yeah, there's a product that we sell, but at the end of the day, we do this because it's fun, because it helps people have a better life, you know. So I almost, when you were saying, I was going to say, oh, yeah, my latest seminar is Make a Date with 8, because that's when the magic happens. And if you get frustrated that it doesn't happen on the first call, two things are happening. One, you're talking to the wrong person, or you're saying the wrong word. Keeping it light and keeping it fun means the conversation carries on. If in the first, second, or third conversation, the only question you want them to answer is, do you want a party? You're probably going to hear no. So, you know, then that's where the relationship ends, because you don't have anything else to talk about. But if it's, like I say, keep it in touch, you get your products, do you have any questions? You know, I just wanted to check in. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. End of discussion. I know business should be fun if you approach it consistently and you really care about the people that are in front of you all of the time. It almost always works out. So have fun. If follow-up is not your thing, challenge yourself a little bit or get a partner within the business and say, hey, I need to set a commitment with you that I'm going to do my follow-ups. And if you think of them as follow-ups or building relationships versus I just got to book the next party, your whole communication will be different, and that's positive for everybody.
Amen, sir. Amen. I really love that. I love that focusing, like changing your approach can change everything. It really can. I mean, just coming at it from that desperation, I got to book a party, got to make a sale, can be detrimental to your business. I think that coming at it from a relationship building place from your heart and, you know, from your own truth, that's huge. I thank you for that.
Yeah, and it's, like I say, instead of saying, we agree the fortune is in the follow-up, but the follow-up doesn't have to be a sales call. The follow-up can be a check-in call. Did you get all your product? Did it arrive okay? Do you have any questions? You know, because now you're having a one-on-one conversation or in an email. People, as we know, just like kind of when they go into the ordering room, you know, that's when the questions come out and the stuff they don't want to say in front of the group. Goddess and the Adoni are in an incredible opportunity situation to build the relationship and be supportive. So if you're terrified of making follow-up calls, stop making them, rename them relationship calls or check-in calls, and just go from there. And then you'll find the parties come easier. You know, people bring it up. They want to do it. And the key about that, you didn't push them into it. You didn't follow them up into it. They brought it up. It's their idea. They'll be more invested. It's like I could go on all day, but I think we're running out of time.
No. Well, this was such a great call. I appreciate you so much, Jim. And, you know, I just one more question. Do you have any advice for our goddesses to add a little more humor to their demo? Because I know that is your specialty.
Yeah. Oh, there's a curveball I should be able to answer really easily. I think, to me, so much humor comes out of doing it, and I think people, you know, who've done their demos for a while, they've kind of, I don't want to say learned things by accident, but, you know, the best way to invite humor into the situation, and particularly if you're not funny, I call it voting questions. You know, you ask, you've got your group there, you're starting off, it's how I start most of my talks, and you ask a funny question, you know, I don't know what that would be if we had more time, you know, but the whole idea is you're getting them to raise their hands to vote yes. You know, so one of the questions I ask is how many people have stress on the job? You know, people laugh and they raise their hands. At that moment, two things are happening. The rest of the audience is going, why are people raising their hands? So it's a way I focus the audience on me. The next thing I say is, how many of you have stress at home? You know, and more hands and more laughter. And then comedy, the rule of threes, is the punchline. How many of you won't raise your hands no matter what I say? And the room just goes crazy. I've been milking that one, Jen, for 30 years.
That's a good one, everybody. Did you get that?
Yeah, it's a great way to start your demo because it focuses the audience. It literally gets them engaged. They're raising their hands, so it stops side conversations. It also shows that you have command of the room. So, yeah, maybe someday I should come out and do a humor workshop for all y'all. That would be fun.
That would be really fun. And I just have to ask this question. Is your next workshop really going to be called Make a Date with 8?
It wasn't until we had this conversation, but I think it, you know, there's so many things that we hear around sales and tips and that. And the truth is sales can be a really disheartening, you know, business. If you don't deal well and embrace rejection, it's painful because 8 out of 10 aren't going to buy. Your goal is to find the 2 out of 10 that are. So why not have as much fun as you can with that? And if you, like I say, start to track conversations and get better at having them, then what happens over time should make a date with 8. 8 always rolls around because you're building a relationship. You're not trying to close a sale or book a party. So, no, my next seminar isn't that, but it should be.
It should be. I love that. I would attend, I think.
Would you? Okay.
I would be there in a heartbeat.
I think we're going to have it in the Bahamas. Let me know the week after your group leaves, and we'll book that. Heck, I'll fly out to New England. We'll do a Make a Date with 8 seminar. We'll put something together. I'll come to you. How's that?
Oh, my gosh. That would be fun. Just not in the wintertime. I won't subject you to a New England winter.
No, fall, I hear, in New England is the time to go.
Beautiful. You could become a leaf peeper and come and look at the leaves here. It's gorgeous.
I've been called a lot of things, but leaf peeper is new. But if you say so, Jen.
Well, Jim, thank you so much for spending time with the Goddesses and Adoni on this call, sharing your wisdom and your insight about entrepreneurial spirits. And I know you have one. You've started a community bank, and you started an awesome way for entrepreneurs and business owners to get together. And ULink, is that what it's called? ULink
Network, yeah. Small business networking is an app Yeah, I'm entrepreneurial. I love to help people. You know, we're all put on this earth for a reason to do something to make a difference. And wouldn't it be great if we could make a living at what we're passionate about? That's how I see life.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Thanks, Jim. Jim,
Yeah.
one more thing. Before you go, where can our Goddesses and Adoni find you if they want to connect with you?
So I'm going to, of course, do the Facebook page. My personal page is kind of filled out, but there's a page on Facebook called Laughter Works Seminars and Jim Pelley, and happy to connect there. And if people have questions or other stuff, you can send me a message that way. We're also on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. So connect and let me move you forward in your quest to find more business, to have more fun. So, yeah, would love that. The Facebook, good Lord, what they used to call fan pages or business pages is probably the best one.
Thanks, Jim. All right, Goddesses and Adoni, you can find Jim, and you should. You can find him on social media very easily, and I encourage you all to go find him and connect with him. I know some of our goddesses, like Carrie Sellers, will tell you that she loved Jim and what she learned from Jim, so let's stay connected with him through social media, and I'll work on getting him back out here to New England so he can become a leaf peeper. Thanks, Jim.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
Thanks again, Jim. You know, I had a few highlights here. I wonder if you wrote down the same words that I did. I wrote down, you don't want to know, you want a relationship. I have separate the prospects from the suspects. I also wrote down in big letters, have a killer demo. And I also have here, if something scares you, like the words follow-up, change the name to something else. And, of course, I wrote the word consistency. You know, Jim's an entrepreneur just like us, and his advice to us is so relevant. So how will you be working your business in July and August? Are you focused on consistently working towards your WOW and WAR goals for this session? Yesterday, I got an email from Casey, our travel agent, that contained highlights for our upcoming Hawaiian cruise next year, our 20th anniversary trip. And I was looking at the pictures and reading all the blurbs and thinking, wow, I cannot wait for this trip. And I am so excited to stand on stage in September at the stadium and pull out a name of a warrior who will be taking this trip of a lifetime absolutely free. Will it be you? You want to hit your WOW and WAR goals this summer. You have the ability to help others have the most romantic summer ever. Will you be the person who takes consistent action to crush your goals this summer? You have the chance to. Well, now it's time for me to give everyone on this call a chance to win a womanizer. You could use this item as a summer booking incentive. Like everyone who books a party with me for July and August will get entered to win this free womanizer. You could use it in your demo if you don't have it, or you could keep it for yourself. Whatever you do with it, you know, it's free and it's a good idea. So fill out the Google Docs survey that was included in your email and posted in the WOW and WAR communities, and share your aha moment with me. I want to know what you thought of Jim's call. You can find the Google Docs survey in the email that contained this webinar, and just click on it, fill out the link completely. It takes just a second. You fill out the submission form, it takes a second. That's how we know that you were here and that you participated in this call. And it will enter you to win that free womanizer. You need to fully fill it out by midnight tonight, which is Warrior Wednesday, in order to get entered to win that free womanizer. We'll be announcing the winner on Thursday. You have till 11:59 p.m. on Friday, June 23rd, to complete and submit the Google survey. If you cannot listen on Warrior Wednesday, that's fine. You'll have all day Thursday and all day Friday to listen. By submitting the information again, you'll receive credit towards your spoils of war. So now here's your final code word, and it is relationship, RELATIONSHIP. Your last code word is relationship. So I hope that you'll be back with us next week for another Inspiring Warriors United call with Katarina Rando. So thanks so much to our guest speaker, Jim, one more time for his entrepreneurial advice. And I am so grateful to you for being part of the warrior community. Thanks again, and God is blessed.